Transformers: Rise of the Beasts is directed by Stephen Caple Jr. and is set in the early 90s in Brooklyn, New York. We follow Noah, a sharp young guy from Brooklyn, and Elena, an ambitious, talented artifact researcher, who are swept up in the conflict as Optimus Prime and the Autobots face a terrifying new nemesis bent on their destruction. In 5th grade, every day before school, I watched Beast Wars. I loved that show so much. I thought it was the coolest thing. The computer animation at the time was really amazing for me to watch on TV. Toy Story and all of that was still so fresh and new. There was that show Reboot as well. It was such an interesting time for computer animation, and obviously it looks very rudimentary now, but back then it was pretty amazing. Beast Wars was my first exposure to Transformers. I didn't really watch the 80s cartoon or the movie. I have since and really enjoyed it. But I didn't really know much about Transformers except for Beast Wars, and so when the first few Michael Bay movies came out, I was introduced to the fact that Beast Wars was not the primary Transformers property. It was kind of doing its own thing. And so for years, I've hoped that they would in some way incorporate an element of Beast Wars into the Transformers movies, and now we finally have. Sort of. Optimus Primal is in the film, Cheetor is in the film, some other folks are, but they're not really... They're there. You can look at them, basically. It's a little disappointing. I wanted more Beast Wars elements. In fact, just the whole story behind that show was really riveting, and I think it would translate very well to a film, but once again, we are following human characters who encounter robots. And I think if there was one primary criticism about the Transformers franchise, it's that there are too much people and we want more robots. Because they're awesome, and everybody loves Peter Cullen as Optimus Prime. Watch Gundam Wing tonight at midnight, only Toonami. It was so damn cool to hear his voice on Toonami commercials. With this film, though, I think they did a really good job with our protagonist, Noah, played by Anthony Ramos. He's really good in the film, first off. But his plight is understandable. He's having a lot of money problems, he can't get a job, he's living with his single mother, and his brother is very sick. So immediately you're kind of on his side. You understand what he's going through, and you'd like to see him succeed in some way. And throughout these early sequences in Brooklyn, New York, they did an amazing job in recreating the early 90s. The soundtrack is very nostalgic as well, and definitely helped with that. And it was a nice reminder of how important a soundtrack is to really put you into a space and in an environment and remind you of those feelings that you might have had the first time you heard those songs. And it really did make it feel like the early 90s. And young Dean Scott Vasquez, as his brother Chris, was terrific in the film. One of the biggest impressions I've gotten from a younger actor recently. He was really, really good. So good, in fact, that I wish he was in the film more often. Noah goes on this journey with a girl he meets at a museum who knows a lot about artifacts, and her purpose in the movie is revealed as she begins to identify things that they have to know, and she's very good at understanding ancient languages and things like that, and so that's kind of why her character is in the film. But he leaves his brother behind to go on this adventure with the Transformers. And the entire film, I was just thinking to myself, this would be more entertaining if this was a brother story. If it was older brother and younger brother who is sick, who has issues. There's a lot of stakes revolved around his illness, and it's also an emotional bond that's much deeper to me than a girl you just met at a museum. And I really think the film would have been stronger if he went on this adventure with his young brother. But I did still find the movie very entertaining. I mean, it's pretty hard to look at giant robots punching each other and not at least enjoy an element of that. And it's very well directed. Stephen Caple Jr., who is from Cleveland, which is great. He started here with his movie The Land, and then he went on to Creed 2, which is where I met him, and he was super nice, and this is obviously an even bigger budget than Creed 2, which was great. Super underrated in my opinion. And I'm happy to see a filmmaker from Cleveland getting these opportunities. It's very inspiring to me. And even though it was awesome to finally see Optimus Primal and Cheetor and Air Razor in the film, who gets the most screen time besides Optimus Primal, I think, Michelle Yeoh, voices Air Razor. There just wasn't enough of them. Although they provided a fair amount of audience applause at the screening. I mean, there were so many moments near the final 20 minutes of the film where the audience just kind of erupted. The action sequences are very thrilling. The visual effects are truly stunning. I really enjoyed the Flash movie. Thought it was awesome. The visual effects there really needed some work. Here, I didn't feel that way at all. These felt incredibly polished. And since I actually did care about the humans in this film, that really helped things as well. As far as ranking this, in the Transformers franchise. I would say it's definitely better than 2, 4, and 5. I like Bumblebee and Transformers 1 more for sure. And I think I might like Transformers 3 more too. But I'm sort of an apologist for that movie. I think I enjoy it more than most people. Am I forgetting about a Transformers movie besides the animated one, which is really fun and a very good one and you should see it? Yeah, if you've never seen the Beast Wars show and you can get past the like mid-90s computer animation, it's really good and definitely worth seeing, as is Rise of the Beast if you're a Transformers fan. But don't go to see it expecting it to be this fresh, bold, new vision of Transformers. It's pretty much what you would expect, but the characters are handled with a lot of care. So I have an update for you guys about my film, Shelby Oaks. We are in post-production, as you know. We've been in post-production for over a year now, and we are inching very close to picture lock. It's very exciting. It's just right around the corner. I mean, we've been editing this film and really tightening the screws on it for a while now, and I'm really excited about everything that we're doing. I've seen the movie, at least this version of the movie, without a score and without finished sound and without color grading and without finished VFX. I've seen that version of the movie many times, and I am proud of it, and I'm very excited to share it with you guys when it's ready. I've learned so much over the course of making this movie about film, about filmmaking. I can't even begin to tell you in a short amount of time how much I've learned and how much more I love movies now than I ever did before. The respect and appreciation I have for them has just shot through the roof. It's been such an amazing experience, and I'm really excited to continue to make films. But I wanted to, again, thank you guys for supporting the film, for making it happen, for being there, for just understanding how important it was to me. And I think being transparent and very open with you guys about the project is something that has been very valuable, and I think that I'm going to continue to do that, which is why I want to talk to you about something. We've done really well when it comes to our budget. We're very happy of what we were able to put on the screen for the money we had, and I'm very proud of that. But we have encountered something in post that I want to talk to you guys about, and that is that there are a few visual effects shots that are absolutely integral. They're so important. The film needs them. We're not talking about cleanup shots. Oh, there's some dust there, or we want to make that look a little different. We're talking about things that the story needs to make sense. And these are visual effects elements. There aren't that many. I tried to write a film that was almost entirely in camera as best as possible because visual effects are not something that I'm familiar with. And I also just assumed that if you could do as little as possible, that you would be saving money. Sometimes that's true and sometimes it isn't, I've learned. Sometimes it's cheaper to just do the visual effects, and sometimes it's not. But we have a handful of shots that we have learned are not only more extensive in regards to the work needed, but more expensive as well. And we're at a point now where our visual effects budget is pretty much gone. We have exhausted it on some very important elements, and there are still some remaining. To finish the film in the way that I think it should be finished, we need to raise a little more money. Every single penny that has been given to this film thus far, with the Kickstarter as well as ShelbyOaksMovie.com, the link that I have talked about in all of our behind-the-scenes videos I've posted, where you can buy the Blu-ray and some other products. All of the money that has come through that has gone to the post-production process in some way, shape, or form. There are so many things that I never even knew you spent money on in post-production, like a publicist, for instance. I mean, every time you get an email that's like, here's the trailer for a movie that's going to drop on this streaming app, more than likely a publicist sent that out and wrote all that up and tried to make it appealing and wants to catch your eye, and all those people have to be paid. There's posters and printings and all kinds of things I never thought of before. But when it comes to what we need to finish this movie, it's some visual effects funds. We have got to put some extra money into some visual effects to really make sure that we can finish this film in the way that I think it should be finished. And that's why I'm going to once again ask that if you are able, please visit ShelbyOaksMovie.com. You can still support our film in post-production right now. And every single cent that goes into that is going to help finish this movie and is going to help pay for these remaining visual effect shots that we have got to get. You're going to hear me bring this up a few more times this month. We are very close to picture lock, and it's just so exciting, but it's difficult to fully finish certain things until we know that the visual elements are there. And I really want to make sure that we can do that so we can deliver the best film we possibly can for you guys. So again, that's shelbyoaksmovie.com. If you want to or can continue to support our film in post-production, that is going to be a massive help. Thank you so much for continuing to do that. Truly, it really does mean the world, and I love that you guys are a part of this journey with me. I just can't thank you enough every time someone walks up to me. Just the other day at the Flash, when I was sitting down, somebody shouted out they couldn't wait to see Shelby Oaks, and I was like, hey, thanks, man. Like, it just feels so good. It just means so much that you guys care that much. So thank you, as always, for watching. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.